Hello and welcome to the next part of my Project Zomboid tutorial series set in our Muldrow town, the default map for Project Zomboid. So today's episode I'm going to be looking for the last thing on my list that I missed in my scavenge list, which is of course books. So we have a nice little secure base here. I have some rare items, including gardening supplies and of course my auger for a mine. I have some nails. I have somewhat of a barricade going here. It's not ideal yet, but this will eventually be a super secure compound. But in order to make this compound what I want it to be, I need to get the expertise from books. Books are going to teach me some of the rarer recipes in the game, and they're also going to allow me to do interesting late game things like starting a farm and having some livestock. And if you've watched any of my previous series, you'll know what the value of having livestock is. I would probably argue it's a little bit overpowered, but it's definitely, I mean, it's in the Project Zomboid, in the Hydrocraft mod. So we are going to set up a bit of a livestock pen, but in order to do that, I need some books, and I need some books for carpentry. I need some books for cooking. I just need books in general. There's some more urgent things that I need to get in terms of books, and definitely number one on my list is carpentry. You know how important carpentry is. It ties into almost all of the recipes that are used in the Hydrocraft mod. Carpentry is needed for building a water collector, which is the most probably, in my opinion, is the most critical item in the game. If you don't live near water, you have no means of getting water apart from collecting it in a barrel. And to do that, I need a carpentry skill level of 4. Now, I've actually got a carpentry skill level of 3, so I actually will only need the one book in order to get the water collector. But I do want to try and get all of the carpentry books, or as many as I can. Now, where we're headed today is a bookstore to the south of Muldrow. It's very far to the south, nearly at the very far end of town, and it's a very, very long trot to get there. So I've got an empty bag. I'm all ready to go. I've got some wooden stakes, my weapon of choice, and we're going to try and run down that way. We're going to try and get through these zombies and not disturb too many of them. I also don't want to kill too many of them because obviously they have some valuable items that I'm going to have to carry if I kill them. I'd like to leave them alive as they're little meat bag item holders for me. Once I kill them, the corpse is on the ground. Once you check them the first time, you tend to forget. So try not to kill too many zombies because I want to leave my bags empty. Now, the books that we are looking for today, the most critical ones are number 1, carpentry, all the carpentry books if I can. Number 2 is farming, because I'm going to want to get a farm going as soon as I can. It's not so critical in this playthrough because it's not like my last playthrough in Phoenix where the zombie hordes are on high. I'll probably have enough food by scavenging around here for at least 6 months, but I do want to try and get a farm just to show you how to do it. The other advantages of having a farm is that we can use the food to make bio waste and fuel, and I can use the food for my the extra food for my farm to feed animals if I get animals. So there's a lot of useful things there. But right now I just want to be able to build a water collector so that I'm not too worried about water. And also the useful part about having the carpentry books is that every time I do a carpentry action, such as cut up trees, cut up logs into planks, barricade, build anything, I'm going to get that nice boost in XP to my carpentry skill. As you can see here, even though I did all of that carpentry in the last 2 episodes, I really haven't got that much gain in carpentry skill in XP. I only made 108 XP, and with the books will give you a multiplier to whatever skill it is that the book is about. So if I get a carpentry book, I'll be able to get a 3 or a 4 or even a 5 times bonus to the amount of skill, the amount of XP that I accrue for each carpentry action. And the same goes for cooking, the same goes for farming. Any of these skills here, carpentry, cooking, farming, first aid, electrical, fishing, trapping, and foraging. These skills here all have a corresponding book. So if you get the book, you'll get the bonus, and you want to try and get the books for these actions. Obviously, books are heavy, so I'm not going to be able to carry a lot of them. So I need to be smart about what books I take with me. And the ones that are obviously the ones I'm definitely taking are carpentry, farming, and cooking. If I'm lucky, I might find some books on animal husbandry, which is how to find and keep animals. Geology, which will let me start a mine, and pottery, which will let me build a kiln. Those are handy books as well. If I can find a book on anatomy, I can then cut these zombies up and start making bone knives out of their bones. So that's not an essential thing. It's more of a convenience thing for me. I'm not having to cut up trees all the time to make these wooden stakes. But again, it's not essential. It's more of a convenience thing, but it's a bit of a waste cutting down trees. I'd rather use the trees for making some planks. But we can't deny the effectiveness. There's too many zombies here. I'm going to try and lead them off. Lose them in these trees. Here we go. I could fight all of them, but I don't want to. Here we go. So that's a nice trick. If you ever end up where you really got too many zombies after you, you can lose them in the woods. All I did was just do a big circle in the woods, and those guys are going to be lost over there. They won't find me. And here's where we need to be. Down here in this area is the bookstore. And the bookstore will hopefully not be alarmed. So there is a chance when you go to any building that it may have an alarm, and that includes houses, stores, warehouses. Any building in the game can potentially be alarmed. I found that stores and warehouses seem to have a higher statistical chance of being alarmed. I found a raincoat there in case it rains. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case. I don't want this to be alarmed, because there are other ways to get what I want, of course, but I'd rather not be running all over town checking houses. The bookstore will have everything I need in one convenient location. I sound like a salesman when I'm saying that. Everything you could want in the apocalypse. This is one of our bookstores today. Apologies, I think the sound might be a little bit too high for this. I'll have to turn it down in the next episode. I hope it's not disturbing my voice too much. Okay, nothing there. So here you can see here all these lovely books. Now we're just going to cross our fingers and just hope against hope this isn't alarmed. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so this is everything we could possibly want in terms of books. Just get rid of that. Now, there are some zombies to the south there, so I'm going to have to be somewhat careful. Now, as I said, our priorities go cooking. Well, sorry, first farming. Sorry, first carpentry, then farming, then cooking. So there's nothing there, and we obviously want to prioritize the books that are for beginners. Bone working. Now this is the one I was talking about. This will actually allow us to grab bones from a corpse and cut up the corpses for bones and make bone knives. Foraging. Now I don't technically need foraging, but I'm going to take it because it will let me keep animals. I can find animal poo, baking, fish, glass, gold. All this stuff is useful, but you have to kind of work out what's the most important. This is the book for our skill level, carpentry for intermediates. We want this, and we want expert carpentry, and we want farming. This is all good stuff. I'm grabbing all this. If I can, I'm just going to try and grab everything, because We definitely want to try and get as much of this. This is not a good area of town to be looting in. It's good in terms of stuff, but it's very dangerous in terms of enemies. Cooking for beginners, there you go. That's one of our other key books. Farming for beginners, there we go. And foraging, have I got foraging? Foraging for beginners, foraging for intermediates, excellent. We'll take leather, because we will need leather. So that we're doing well. We've actually got most of what we need. Master farming, I'll grab it. I probably don't need it right now, but I'll grab it anyway. Farming is a pretty easy skill to level up. Science, reptiles. Now, unfortunately, we haven't had much luck in terms of getting as carpentry. I'm looking for the advanced carpentry textbook if I can get it. First aid for beginners, we definitely want that. Any of the beginners book, I always urge you to get if you can carry them. Bird field guides, again, this is all anatomy textbook, excellent. So the anatomy textbook will let us cut up zombies in order to get the bones, and that just is a more convenience thing for me. Farming for intermediates. So it sounds like we've got some zombies kind of banging away at the door there, so we need to try and keep this going. Carpentry for beginners, we'll take that. Don't technically need it, but I better take medical in case I'm injured. And there is a reason I haven't taken the fishing book, because there's an expert cooking book. There isn't any fishing spots near where I am. Cooking for intermediates, we definitely want that. And we'll take we'll take trapping, and we'll take master cooking. Beautiful. So just make sure that we're not. No. So the zombies are there, but they're not near me. Anatomy textbook, we've got one of those already. Political science, stoneworking is pretty handy. We better grab that because we'll need that to make concrete. Just checking behind us. And we've already got bone working. We've got intermediates. Trapping for beginners. Interesting. Okay, so we'll grab that trapping as well. I don't think I've got trapping. So unfortunately, I do. Unfortunately, this is a bit boring. It is boring. So now what we've got is all of the critical stuff. We've got all the stuff that we need from here. Let's go in. Before we do anything, let's just... Yeah, we've got... I'll ignore those guys for now. Now we've got the must-haves. This is what I do. I always get the must-haves. Now let's go back and have another look and grab everything that we could possibly use later on. I don't want to return here unless I have to. I probably will, but... Microbiology, we definitely want that. Sculpting, we're going to take one of those. So what I'm grabbing now are all the Hydrocraft books. So I've got all the games that the books that we need from the base game. Now all I'm doing is getting all the books from the Hydrocraft mod that unlock specific different recipes. Take the first aid. Science textbook, we need that for a lab. All this stuff I don't really need, but I'm going to take it because I'd rather not have to come back here again. And once you read these books, it comes up and will tell you if you need them again. So fish field guide, I better take that. Take baking. Take glass. I'm going to grab everything if I can. It just depends how much weight I can carry. Radio textbook. I'm just grabbing everything now. If I need it or not, we're just going to grab all the. Just make sure that I don't double up on anything. Welding. This is really handy later on. You can make some really awesome stuff out of metal. But you really, I'm lucky. I've archery textbook's handy because I can make a bow. I think I've got baking already. So I apologise again, this is very boring, but I guarantee you that this is going to pay off in the long run. we're going to be able to make some fantastic stuff, and we'll only ever have to make this trip once. So calligraphy, I think that might be used for something, so I'll take that just in case. These are all different micro. We definitely want this because that will let us make yeast. I know this is boring as hell. I know this is boring as hell. Fully aware. Please don't stop watching the video. Things are gonna get interesting soon. Cooking, we've got that. Mathematics now. A lot of these books unlock some really awesome stuff. So later in the game, I can make some insanely cool stuff. I can make some guns. You can make guns that shoot potatoes. You can actually craft ammunition. Definitely need that. The problem is these books are so bloody heavy that if you really, all plumbing, we definitely want that. Steel. We're doing really well. Candle. We can make cheese once we get cows. And the cheese will, you can make, that cheese, showing my ignorance again, but the cheese that actually keeps forever, you can pretty much, you can make some really cool stuff. And the cheese will, literally last for 6 months. So you can make a massive batch of cheese. So science, trapping, we'll grab those. Now, normally you wouldn't be able to do this. But because I've got such an insanely big bag, got all this lithium I don't have. Now I could have just gone, okay, I just went down to the south and got these books, but I just wanted to show you because this could have gone south. We could have actually had the whole thing go south and then end up having to get the books from the houses. So can you imagine how long it takes to get this from houses rather than just going to one or masonry? That will let us make a concrete. Very handy. Music is handy, so we can actually make music to distract the zombies. Rocketry textbook, I'll grab that, and I've got pottery. So I apologize, I know this is boring. This is really, really handy. I don't have pottery. Good thing, I'll grab that. Okay, that's it. I think we're just about done. I've got one last book to check. Anatomy. This is so handy, this anatomy textbook, because you can actually pull the zombies apart. Political science. Trapping for beginners. Trapping is also really handy later on, because you can have, you can pretty much live off animals. Advanced Carpentry. Have I got Advanced Carpentry? I think this is the book I was actually missing. Beautiful. I've got them all. I've got every single carpentry book. Oh, nice. So we can make armor for ourselves. This must be a new thing in the project. In the Hydrocraft mod. I knew that Hydromancer was working on armor. Explosives. Oh yeah. You know I love explosives. We're gonna blow up some zombies. For sure. Literature. Okay. Grab electrical. So I'm nearly at capacity, so we're probably just going to be running back soon. But I'll try and make things interesting. We might go back via titanium I've got. Cool. Alright, so again, I apologise for this, but we only ever do it once. And to be honest, if you're still watching my series now, I'm astonished, because my 3 subscribers will be rubbing their hands together in anticipation. Alright, so we're done. I'm sorry that took as long as what it did. What we might do, since we're in the area, is we're going to check this kitchen up here and try and get ourselves some non-perishable food, because that's something I don't have as well. I was going to put this guy out of his misery, but no, I won't risk it. We'll keep going. There's a kitchen to the north. Whoa, a Druganov. Okay, we're taking that. So for those who don't know, the Druganov is a Soviet rifle. It's a very powerful rifle, and a pretty hard to find one in this game anyway. It's a sniper rifle. It can be fitted with a scope. In fact, I don't know if this has actually been fitted with a scope. I don't know if it will tell us. Let's find out. Druganov. No, no scope. But still, I think for me to be able to use it with any sort of skill level, I have to get my firearm skill a little bit better than what it is. Let's have a look in here. This is a kitchen. So we might be able to find ourselves some non-perishable food. That's the other thing that I was going to go looking for. Let's just get rid of this chick here. Come on down. It's a party. Alright. Painkillers. So these guys actually drop quite a lot of medicine. So really if you've got well, probably shouldn't open that door, but anyway. I didn't want them smashing through the door in the middle of me trying to scavenge, so let's just have a peek out here. She's not too bad. We'll have a look here and see if there's some... No, unfortunately, there wasn't any garbage bags, so let's have a look in here. Garbage bags are very important because they are the other ingredient which lets us make a water collector. So, okay, we've got some fresh food here. Let's pinch this. We'll put it in our other bag. There we go. So we are somewhat overweight at the moment. So we might just grab this and we'll head back. So the most important thing was those Tupperware containers. Nothing there of use. Okay, so that food's handy because it has some Tupperware containers. I'm going to try and cook up some of this food if I can, but it wasn't. Most of that food was fresh. There was a little bit of non-perishable food. There we go. Excuse me. So what I did was eat enough food to give me a bit of a strength boost, so that I'm no longer encumbered. We're going to try and take this food home now. It's actually 3/4 of the way through the day, but what we've done is we've done something very valuable. We've given ourselves the gift of knowledge, so to speak. We have the knowledge we need to continue our building, to get a farm going, to start cooking, to start weapons crafting. So now we're pretty much the scavenging part of the game is nearly finished. I've nearly got everything I need. Put it all together and we've got a nice little base going. Now if we weren't in such a phase of having numerous food, I would start farming right now. But I don't want to farm because it kind of ties me to home. I have to keep going and checking my crops to see if everything is growing nicely, and the need isn't there for crops at the moment. I want to try and keep looking around town to try and get everything we need. So there was a few books that I wasn't able to pick up from our scavenging run, but nothing, all the critical stuff that we need I've got now. So we've got a bit of a trot back to the warehouse. But if we have time left in this episode, I'm going to start using the information we got from the books to try and start barricading. I want to try and make the warehouse nice and clear. We're carrying 61 pounds of books in our backpack, and 8 pounds of, well, sorry, I shouldn't say pounds, 8.5 weight units in our bag. But with all this food, this Tupperware container, if I chuck it in the fridge, it'll keep for a while. And we picked up, probably with all of this food here, maybe a week worth of fresh food. So we've definitely got plenty of food. This pickled food will keep forever too. It's a nice later on with the books we got to, I'll be able to actually pickle my own food. So I'll grow a heap of food with the farm, and then you make some vinegar, and then pickle it all up. The other thing you can do is cure meat as well. So if we do manage to get our hands on some livestock, I can kill that livestock, cure the meat, and then make some either jerky or salted meat. You can salt meat and it'll keep for months on end. So what we're doing now is this is the boring part. We're just kind of carting all of our gains home and try and get all this back. But the other thing I want to be careful of, I don't really want to lead these guys back to my base. It's definitely not in a condition where it can handle many zombies. So we're getting pretty close to home now. Try and edge my way past these guys. We're lucky. We're very lucky because usually that warehouse, the one where I set up, is usually infested. And in the first episode, obviously, we had a bit of a battle to get it, but usually it's a lot worse, and it takes me probably the better part of 3 or 4 days to kill all of the zombies in the warehouse. And there we go. We're back home. So now all we have to do is start carting all of this stuff upstairs and putting it somewhere. Just for now. Let's see, that's only 15 weight units. That's not going to be enough. I'm going to need to start putting all of this stuff away. Is that an ACP? Oh no. So this part here is nice and secure, but I'm going to need to create some shelving upstairs. But I might try and pick up some of these crates to use them upstairs. So that one's, we'll just dump them on the ground for now. So my plan is to pick up this crate and actually move it upstairs. And I'm going to put all my books in it. Now, to pick up items, you use this key here, and LZ Bravo, my good buddy, actually showed me. I didn't know you could do this. Pick up. Click what you want to pick up. You only need a hammer in your inventory to do this. Okay. And then we should be able to... Unfortunately, that did not work. That's a shame. That was a fail. So what I might have to do is actually go and I'll build something up here. Once I actually secure the bottom floor, I'll be able to store things. Grab this wooden crate, and I might be able to. No, I can't, unfortunately. That crate, I thought it would be treated as an actual crate that you could place. Doesn't matter. So what we've got is we're back at our base. What I'm going to do in the next episode, in between episodes, is actually read all of the relevant books that are in here. I'm going to read all of them. When you read one of the books in a Hydrocraft mod, it'll actually flag the book so that when I'm out on future scavenging runs, I know what books I'm missing. After I read all of these books, in our next episode, we're going to start securing here and in the back entrance and really make this base very secure. We're going to lock all this down, and that way when I sleep in here, when I'm moving around, I'm not having to worry about zombies just wandering in. I'm also going to try and move some of these dead bodies and make this place a little bit more of a home. Maybe make a bed up here so I'm not sleeping in an old chair. But and then finally, when I have the time, this rooftop area, I'm going to move all these chairs, and I'm going to clear this out, and this is going to be my farm. And I might even keep some animals up here, and I'll also probably make a rope to get down to ground level so I can actually climb directly down from here. But this is shaping up to be a very nice little living area. So hopefully I've showed you how to scavenge for books and what books are important. To go over what we've gone over today, the most important books that you need for survival, like right away, are Carpentry for building barricades and the all-important water collector. You need your cooking books, not as important, but later on in the game, when the power goes out and your food becomes scarce, you'll need to start cooking to try and get the best value you can out of the food. The other usefulness in the cooking book is in the Hydrocraft mod. The reason why I grabbed these aren't critical in the base game, but with the cooking books you're able to pickle food, preserve food, make jerky, salt meat, just preserve food so you're not having to worry about it going off. Of course, goes without saying, farming is very important. Without farming books, we can't farm effectively, in that it will take very long to get our farming skill up. The higher our farming skill, the healthier our crops, and the more numerous the return when we harvest those crops. Very important skill to have. First aid, not as important, but still reasonably important, especially in the Hydrocraft mod, where we can begin to start making our own health items. Foraging is important because later on in the game we'll be able to collect poop, animal poop, and begin to start getting our own livestock. These glass golds, these books, glass, gold, lead, these basically allow us to, when we mine ores from the ground, so gold, lead, glass, all of that, we'll be able to process it into something that we can use. In the shape, in terms of gold, I incorrectly said we can make gold weapons. No, that's wrong. We use them for electrical components. Lead we use for the construction of bullets, and glass we use for construction of bottles and containers. Leather we use to make armor, and we can make storage items. We can also make some weapons out of them, such as a sling. Lithium is used in electronics. The mammal field guide is used in the construction of creating some traps. Masonry is used in creating concrete, and also some bricks and mortar, which we use for making smelters and furnaces and stuff for processing our ores. What else have I not talked about? The medical textbook allows us to extract blood and basically make some more advanced medical items. The metallurgy textbook, again, used mainly for electronics, nickel, zinc, tungsten. Microbiology textbook, that's a new one, and it allows us to make agar, which is what we turn into yeast. Music means we can actually make music, and I believe that's used as a distraction for zombies. Photography, I don't think that actually has any sort of practical use apart from a entertainment value book in the game. Plumbing is quite important because later on we can make water towers and also pump water from under the ground. Pottery is critical because we use that in our kiln to make different items such as pots, containers, and also to make molds. This is very important because we can't use, without a kiln and without pottery, we can't actually we can't use the items that we mine from the ground. Radio, I'm not sure what the use of the radio textbook was. I just took it just in case. Same with the reptile book. Rocketry allows us to make a rocket launcher. I've never made one, but we will, rest assured. Science textbook will allow us to make a lab, and we can make all sorts of cool stuff like some meth. We can go all Walter White in the apocalypse. We don't have to worry about the legality of doing so. Sculpting lets us make things like marble statues. We can make statues and different things from. Again, I think it's just entertainment value. And stoneworking allows us to basically make some of the raw materials we'll need for more more useful items such as making stone into gravel so we can make concrete, making wells, and also making things like your arrowheads for your arrows, and of course our we can make a mortar and pestle, which we use for grinding up some items such as bone powder, which we use for making glue, and some other really useful items. I don't remember off the top of my head of what all of these are, but we will look at them in a future tutorial. And finally, we've got trapping. Trapping's quite useful as an alternate source of food, especially with the new nutrition system in the game. So we're going to trap some animals, and we're going to cut them up, and we're going to either preserve them or eat them. It'll give us a boost to our nutrition. And that's about it. Veterinary lets us basically, once we get an attack dog, we're able to heal our dog as they're hurt. And welding will let us, this is actually quite useful. Welding is one of the most useful books. It will let us make a lot of items out of metal, such as metal pipes, metal sheets, and all of these metal items are used in building more advanced buildings. What I've used the metalwork for so far is just make welding sheet metal, which we use to make some of the things like the smoker and the blast furnace, and also making metal pipes, which we can use as weapons. We can also use them in the construction of more advanced things like upgrading your mine. Again, I haven't used all of the features in this, and it's going to be a learning experience for me. But yeah, I realise this episode's been a bit trite, but I just thought I'd go over books and where to find them. If you are unable to get into the bookstore like I did today, you would go into houses or small houses or the shipping containers, and the process would be a lot slower. You'd basically going through the houses looking for all of these books. So the fact that we've managed to get them all in one episode is going to make our tutorial series a lot nicer. So that's it for today. If you like this episode, please subscribe. Again, I apologise, this was a bit of a boring episode, but it was a necessary one. I couldn't just go, okay, I've got all these books, this is how you use them. It was handy for you to know where to find them and how and what books are the ones you need to target. Until next time, Skill Incarnate out.